Hi, everyone. Good to be here with you tonight. Welcome to Real Stories of Hurting Moms. My name is Cathy Taylor, and I'm happy to be here. I'm actually on vacation with my husband right now, so if these don't they, you can probably tell these are hotel curtains behind me, and so I'm broadcasting from a hotel room. But yeah, we're having a little getaway, and it's just really nice. But I didn't want to miss a Thursday. I didn't want to miss an opportunity to come on here and to be able to just chat with you and let you know that I'm thinking about you. And like I said, I mean, this is something I look forward to every week. So really happy to be here. Um, I want to know where you're watching from. You know what? Put that in the comments. You know, it's so fun to see moms watching from Canada, all over the US. We've had moms watching from the Philippines, from the United Kingdom, from Puerto Rico, from Australia. I think we had somebody on here from Ireland one night. I just can't, first of all, I can't believe that we have hurting moms like this all over the world. I mean, this is not, sometimes we feel like we're all alone and we're the only one. And let me tell you, hurting moms, being a hurting mom does not, we're not, what do I want to say? We're not unique in that. There are so many moms hurting everywhere. And I had no idea. Anne Marie, happy birthday. She says she had a happy birthday today. So happy to hear that. I wanted also let me know, is this your first time watching? I love to see that. A lot of moms, I see a lot of moms names I recognize. A lot of you watch on a regular basis, but let me know if it's your first time. If this is your first time to be watching and joining us for Real Stories of Hurting Moms, let me know. Cathy says, soggy Pennsylvania. Man, we are getting some weather in some parts of this country. Those of you who are in like Oklahoma or any place with the tornadoes and the flooding in California. I live in California. We have earthquakes, but man, some of you I know are really suffering and struggling with horrendous weather conditions and flooding. And so you're in our prayers. And I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I want to talk to you tonight for a few minutes, and I'm not sure I'll be on here. It's been, I can talk, so I can probably be talking all through it. But I said I may not be on here for the full 30 minutes when I'm by myself, if I can think of enough things to talk about. But I have one thing that I really want to share with you. I came across this in my devotional time this week, and it's Psalm 77:12, and it says, I will consider all your works and meditate on all your mighty deeds. And it made me realize, I think it's important for us to create a habit of recalling the times that God has shown up for us. So many times, I don't know about you, but I have felt like God doesn't hear my prayers. God is not answering my prayers. My child is not getting better. We're in the same situation that we were in years ago, and we begin to lose hope that God is ever going to do anything about it, because we want him to, but we don't see any significant changes. And when we get to that point where we just feel like our prayers aren't being answered, or maybe God doesn't hear us, I think it's important for us to remember the times that God has shown up. What about the times when you knew that he was listening to you? Maybe it didn't have anything to do with your child. Maybe it was another period of your life or something. But man, I look back and there's been so many times that I can see God at work in my life. And sometimes I don't see it at the time. Sometimes I don't recognize that he's at work until maybe I get through a crisis or get beyond it. And then I look back and I go, oh my gosh, look what God has done. And I want to tell y'all a story that I share a lot. And I know some of you may have heard this story before. I know we have lots of new moms that are coming all the time. It dawned on me the other day, just a side note, every minute of every day, I think a new mom recognizes that she's a hurting mom. There's so many hurting moms, and it's not like it's just a group of us and we're the same group. There's just new ones every day, all the time. And so I'm sharing this for those of you who may not have heard it, and maybe as a reminder to some of him. But it's one of the really powerful stories that I have hung on to all the time. Every time I start feeling kind of down or wondering if God's even hearing me. And it happened, gosh, it's been a long time now. My daughter, the one who was inspiration for this, she's 38 today, and this all happened when she was around 20. She was a dancer in the adult entertainment industry. At that time, she was dabbling in different kinds of drugs. I was really just worried about her all the time. And she decided at that period of time that she was going to go work in Las Vegas as a dancer. And she was going to go to a club and work and with a friend because they heard they could make a lot of money doing that. And at the time, she was only about 20 years old. And she wasn't living at home anymore, so I didn't have any say over anything. So I didn't feel good about it, but she went. And while she was there, one night about midnight, maybe 12:30 at night, I was in a dead sleep. My phone rang, and I know you all know about that phone ringing in the night, or the phone ringing and waking us up. It's not something that we look forward to, but a lot of us have had that happen. And when I answered it, it was her. And she just sounded, I don't even know how to describe it. She just sounded completely like flat, like there wasn't any emotion in her voice. And she just said, Mom, she said, I'm in Las Vegas. I came here to work. And she said, I am so depressed and I'm so sad. I don't want to live anymore. I'm in the hotel room. She said, I can't even work anymore. I can't work. I just can't get out of bed. And I don't want to live. And of course, I had that fear like grip my heart in the moment. She's 250 miles away from me. There was nothing I could do. And instead of what I normally would have done, keep trying to talk to her, I don't know where this came from. And I can only imagine that maybe it was God prompting me. And I remember saying to her, you know what? I can't do anything to help you. I'm way far away from you, and I feel like we need to get off the phone, and you need to look up in your hotel room. There's probably a suicide hotline. Look up a number that you can call. Find somebody that might be able to help you. And I said, I don't know what to do. I said, I'll talk to you in the morning. And we got off the phone, and I got down on my hands and knees. And trust me, I don't do that all the time. It's getting too hard to get up. But I got down on my hands and knees, and I just said to God, I said, you know, God, I said, I'm just begging you, please give her a sense of peace. Please wash your perfect peace over my daughter. I pray that you would help her just go to sleep and sleep all night. Take away her anxiety. Take away her depression. Take away the fear that she has, and just give her peace and help her sleep. And I said, and Lord, I've got to go to work in the morning. Please help me to sleep too. Help me go back to sleep and to be able to have a good night's sleep. And I got up in my bed and I did go to sleep, and I slept well that night. And when I got to work the next day, I'd been at work for a couple hours. It was in the morning, and I got a phone call from my daughter. And she said, Mom. And I said, yeah. And she said, did you pray for me last night after we got off the phone? And I said, yes, I did, on my hands and knees. She said, you know, it was the weirdest thing. She said, we got off the phone, and she said, almost immediately, I started feeling this peace just pour over me. She said, I felt peaceful. She said, my anxiety left, my depression left, and I went to sleep, and I slept all night long. And so I said, well, and I don't know, I felt like, thank you, Jesus. I knew that God was telling me, you know what, I've got her. I've got this. You can't do anything to fix her, but I'm protecting her. I'm looking out for her. And I have hung on to that story all these years because, and there's lots more like them, but that one in particular, whenever I start feeling like, man, you know, does he hear my prayers? How many more years are we going to go through this? And I'm reminded of that story when I knew without a doubt God was there. She sensed him as well. It was And I know that some of you have stories like that. And I would, like Cathy says, she has an amazing testimony from her weekend. I'd love to have y'all share, if you have, just in a couple of sentences, if you have a story when you know that God showed up, you knew God was there, something that you hold on to remember that how much he loves you. A lot of you know that I wrote my story, my autobiography. It's called The Story of a Hurting Mom. And that story that I just told you about my daughter and my prayer is in that book, along with some other stories. It's not very, very thick. It's kind of thin. In fact, I'm always saying, how could this many years of life fit into that book? It starts in my childhood and it goes all the way through. But the years that I made a lot of mistakes, I contributed to the things that have gone on in my daughter's life by my poor choices as a young mother. And God finally got a hold of me and I turned around. But by then, the damage had been done, and I had a kid or two that was not in a good place. And so it's my story of that, of how of my early years, and then how God redeemed my life and restored my relationships, and what he's done in my life since. And I told stories like that in there, and it goes on all the way through being a hurting mom and how hurting moms, how this whole ministry got started. So I think it's a really encouraging story. I've been told it is anyway. So I want to encourage you. There's a link. There will be, if there isn't yet, a link above this video that'll take you to the website store, and you can pick up a copy of that. And I want to encourage you. It's a quick read. Most people say they read it in a few hours. Read it and then pass it on to somebody else. Share that story. Pass it on to somebody who might be hurting over a child and might need some kind of encouragement. And Lisa says she needs to remember those stories. You know what? We all do. It is so important for us to be able to remember what God has done in our lives. We get so focused on our child. We get so focused on what they're doing or not doing. And we forget sometimes about what he's done in our lives or what we've seen him do in the lives of others. And so I just want to encourage you to think about those times. And again, ladies, if some of you have stories like that you can throw up there in the comments, if to encourage someone else, please do that. This Facebook broadcast and our Facebook page, I see such awesome interaction happening between you guys, between hurting moms. We need each other. We need this community. I mean, I need it. I know that. I feel so alone, or I did feel so alone until I began to realize how many other moms had stories like mine. And when we come together and we share our stories and we can talk freely, let's face it, we don't talk about this stuff with our neighbors or our people at work or people at church because we feel like we're the only one, and we feel like they might not understand, and we feel like we're going to be judged and our child is going to be judged. But when we come together, we can share and we understand. We know what's up with it. So just want to encourage you about that when you come onto this Facebook page and I see the interaction between you, it's such a blessing to me. And you can read those comments and know we all need each other, and we all need to know that we're not alone in this. Another way that you can really begin healing and move past the pain is being part of a Hurting Moms Breaking Free group. A lot of people think this Facebook page is it. This is the group, and this is a community of hurting moms. There's thousands of moms on this Facebook page, but we have support groups, and the groups last for 10 weeks. 10 weeks. We use a workbook, and in the groups we talk about the emotions that we have. How about the emotions of, I know for me, my most prevalent emotion, anxiety and fear and resentment and discouragement and disappointment and shame and guilt, and all the emotions that we have as hurting moms. And we talk about those emotions in the group. We learn how to pray for our children in the group. We pray for each other's children. We talk about the different phases that we go through of kind of grief and pain. We talk about what we can do to take care of ourselves. You know, God doesn't want our lives to stop because of what our children are doing. And it's so easy for us to get so caught up in that we have a hard time. We have a hard time living our own lives. We have a hard time seeing beyond the pain we're in. Well, part of that group of being in a Hurting Moms Breaking Free group, we move beyond. It gives you tools to use to move to a better place, and you meet lifelong sisters and friends. And let me tell you, so on our website, hurtingmomsmendinghearts.org, there's a map, a group locator, where you'll be able to look and see if there's a group near you. We're fairly new, so we probably have 55 or 60 groups around the US and Canada. So obviously we need lots more groups. So there's probably a good chance there may not be one near you, but check and see. And here's the deal. If there's not one near you, I really want to encourage you to have the courage to get into an online group. So we started doing online groups, and at first I was like against them. I said, oh, there's no way, that's never going to work. We're going to be, I was scared of it. How do we do online stuff? And so then we did a survey and people said they'd like to try it. So I said, well, then I'm going to lead the first online groups. And so I led a couple of them. And I was sold on online groups from the minute I was in one. We can see each other. We can hear each other. It's just like going into a room, walking into a room with people. Only you can do it from your comfort at home. I can't tell you how many bed headboards are in the back of in the background, because a lot of moms go in their room, close the door, sit on the bed. And we go through this curriculum, through this workbook. And I've had hundreds and hundreds of moms tell me how it changed their lives. How it absolutely made a big difference, that they began to take their life back. So I really want to encourage you. I know it's summertime. Right now, summer, it seems like it's a hard time to commit to going to a group, but please know they're only 10 weeks long. And if you have a block of 10 weeks in the summer, love to have you join one of those groups. And there'll be a link above this video you can click on, and you can register. I think we have maybe about 5 or 6 online groups getting ready to start. And so you can get into one of those. And I have never had anyone in an online group regret it. And we've had hundreds of moms go through it. If you have a smartphone, if you have a phone or an iPad or a computer, as long as you have a camera and a microphone, you can do an online group. So with that, just want to tell you about, just want to throw that out there and encourage you to, if you haven't been through one yet. And moms, those of you who are watching who have been in an online group, would you please, in the comments, encourage another mom who may be watching for the first time? Would you please comment and let them know what it's meant to you, how it's changed your life? Anyway, so back to thinking about remembering the times that God has been there, has shown up in a mighty way. There are so many, so many times in my life that I can think back, and especially not just regarding being a hurting mom. I mean, even in my own life, just when I look back. But it's important to remember those times, because we do go through times where we think, man, is he hearing me? I bet some of you moms can relate to that. Like maybe you've been praying for years, and you just, in fact, I have moms tell me this. So I think Carla says she loved online groups, and she led one, and she was in one. That happens a lot of times. Like moms will go through one and they'll say, hey, you know what? This is easy. I want to lead one. And so again, you guys, sign up for a group. Try it out. It's worth it. It's worth it. And then the workbook that you get to go with it, it'll be a toolbox for you for forever. I mean, there's lots of scriptures in there, and it kind of ends up being like a journal. You'll end up writing in it, and it's pretty amazing. But I want you to all remember this verse, let me read it to you again. Psalm 77:12. I will consider all your works and meditate on all your mighty deeds. And I think we all have things in our lives where we are aware that God, it couldn't have happened without him. It couldn't have happened without him, that God showed up and something amazing happened. And I think it's important. I think it's important that we remember those and that we thank him for those. And so please, and even after we get off here, continue to comment on that. Comment on the times that God showed up and showed up with your child or for you and your child. Elisa McFall says online groups are easy to navigate. They are. You know what? They are. I thought it was going to be hard, but it isn't. It isn't that hard. So I'll tell you what I'm going to be doing. I'm with my husband. We're actually in Las Vegas, and we went and saw Penn and Teller the other night, and tomorrow we're leaving for Prescott, Arizona. I'm going to go visit my mom and dad. They're 91 years old. A lot of you have met them on a broadcast before. And if I'd had somebody ask me, are you going to have your mom on with you? So, we're going to be there Friday and Saturday night. And then we'll be going back to California. But we've been having a super great, a great time, just relaxing and connecting with each other. And again, I just wanted to come on here, though, and talk to you, and it means a lot. I look forward to this time too. I do. I really do. I see Camellia says God showed up when her son overdosed. Every single mom has all kinds of stories like that. And you guys, it's important that we share them. It's important that we share with each other, that we encourage each other, that we share the good stuff. Sometimes those of us, we hold each other up, right? We all go through those really hard times where everything just seems impossible. And then maybe we come out of it, but somebody else is going through that time. So it's kind of like we hold each other up. We hold each other up. And it's between us and God. We need each other, and we definitely need God. So I'm going to finish up now. I'm so glad to be here. I'm looking at your comments, and I will be answering some of them later. Answer each other, share with each other. Moms, get into a group. If you haven't been in a group, I don't even know how to tell you how important it is for you to be able to get healing. This whole ministry is very personal to me. I wrote it out of my own pain. I had no idea that all this was going to happen, that it would be worldwide. But I just know that it's making a difference. And it isn't because of me. It isn't because of anything I've done or because I'm so brilliant or anything like that. I wrote this out of my own need. It's because this is one of the ways that God showed up. God showed up somehow, and he helps moms, and he changes lives through this. So I can't tell you enough. If you have not been in a group, now's the time. Please get in a group. And if there's not one in your area, then get into one into an online group. Joan Ross says, enjoy your trip. Thank you, Joan. Appreciate that. And Carol Hall says, moms rule if we get out of the way of God's work. And that's absolutely true. I say that often. I know I'm just rambling. I'm kind of talking to you as I see your comments. I say that often, I feel like sometimes we're the ones who get in the way. Like sometimes God is trying to do something. He wants to do something in their lives. And we're so busy meddling and trying to control things and trying to fix things the way we think they need to be fixed, that we get in the way of what God wants to do. And I don't think he gives up. He might just throw his hands up, right? Or roll his eyes and say, oh, please. But he doesn't give up. He finds another way. But I think sometimes we prolong the situation because of our meddling. And that's a hard thing to face and a hard thing to admit or to recognize, because we're the mom and we've always been in charge and we've always been responsible to make everything okay with our kids. But once they become adults, we can't do that anymore. We just can't. So, hi, Sharon. I see Sharon. Carol says, get out of God's way and let him work. Absolutely. So, ladies, have a great rest of the week. I'll be back next Thursday. It's fun to be on here with you. Keep commenting with each other. If you're not in a group, get in a group. If you haven't read my story, get the book and then make sure you pass it on to somebody else. Share them with each other, because I think that it'll encourage you. It's good to be here. Love you all. As always, I pray for you every day. I pray for you when I wake up. I pray for you as I'm going to bed. Even here on my vacation, I'm thinking about hurting moms. Hi, Norma. Sorry that you're struggling today. We'll be praying for you as well. Take care, moms. Love you all. See you soon. Bye-bye.